Sort of this hard sort of shell on the outside, but inside you're like falling apart really.
I was suffering so much and I had no idea why I was suffering.
I was full of fear, so anyone that come near me, I'd attack.
To stop is almost an impossibility.
The first time somebody was saying, you know, God really loves you.
I never knew there were things in the Bible about how much he loved me and adored me.
I have nothing but joy filled my heart.
Above all, they taught me how to pray.
That God just bypassed the head and went to the heart.
Hello and welcome to Testimony Time with me, Del Barefoot, on Revelation TV. And as always, it's great to have you, the viewers, along with us. The Bible says that in all things, in all manner of circumstances, God works for the good of those who love him. But that can seem like a well-worn platitude or cliche to somebody who's just experienced terrible loss or tragedy. That's what happened to our inspirational guest today, Juliet Lamin, when just 19 months ago she lost her dear son, an aspiring footballer called Philip, in very unusual circumstances at Bexley Heath Academy. But it's amazing how already God has turned that seeming tragedy into a victory, and there's more to come. So Juliet, welcome to the program. Thank you for coming to the studio to share with us today. Tell us a little bit about your background, and perhaps you could lead up to that point in February 2013 when Philip passed away.
Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to come and share my story, and I hope it encourages a lot of people out there today. My name is Juliet, like you already introduced me. Originally, I'm from West Africa, though I stayed in Germany for 16 years before moving down to the UK in 2000. I moved to the UK in 2000 with my then 4-year-old son, Philip Lamin. And we had a great time together, and unfortunately for me, in February 2013, at about 3 o'clock, I got a phone call from Bexley Heath Academy, the school that my son attended at that time, to say that I should come to school. And on my way to school, I got another phone call again to start making my way straight to the hospital because his situation has gotten worse. So I went to the hospital on that day, and I found my son lying down there breathless, and a lot of doctors attending to him, trying to revive him back to life. And the story they gave me at the school was that he was playing football and he just scored a goal, and after scoring a goal, he collapsed.
He just scored a goal. Everybody was cheering.
Everybody was cheering, and then he collapsed, and he never woke up again. So when I got to the hospital that day, I didn't believe it when I got the phone call, but when I got to the hospital and saw my son lying down there, it was a shock to me, because Philip has been playing football since he was 2 years old, and he's always scored goals. He was recently being scouted.
Fulham Football Club?
Yes. Fulham Football Club to play professional under 16. So I was shocked when I got to the hospital and my son was lying there. Between the time that they called me from school and the time that I got to the hospital, I was expecting my son to be breathing or being okay. But when I got there and the 8 doctors were attending to him and he wasn't breathing, it was very shocking to me.
And there was an enormous amount of prayer as well, because as Christians we believe God can do anything. Nothing is too hard for him. But for whatever reason, God decided that he was going to stay with him, and we know that he's in glory because he had a very dynamic, living faith in the Lord Jesus Christ. Now, there has been, Juliet, an amazing outpouring of love towards you, and it's brought together the local community and the young people and the school in a way that is completely unprecedented, really. Tell us about PL9 and what that means, how it came about, and how hundreds of young people have been meeting at a well-known restaurant in Bexley Heath every single week, and have not only been fed physically, but are being fed spiritually, and indeed some of them have come to faith and have been baptized. This sounds extraordinary to me.
Yeah. quite extraordinary. I didn't believe it myself. And following up from after my son's death, he died on the 5th of February and he was buried on the 8th of March. After his burial, I found out that a lot of young people who were missing him started coming to my house. I get about between 25 to 40 young people.
25 to 40 in your front room?
In my house every day.
Right.
And I just let them come in and sit down. Sometimes they go to the kitchen and cook. My house is very small, so they kind of crumb together, you know. So they go and cook, or sometimes we order pizza. They love their chicken, especially the boys. They love their chicken a lot. So, and every time they come, they just share their stories, and all I do is just kind of sit down there and listen to them through their pain. And as I was listening to their pain, I was getting my own healing from listening to their pain as well.
So it was therapeutic
for you. It was very therapeutic for me. It's like we're kind of helping each other. Maybe when they see me, they see Philip, and when I see them, I see Philip.
And you were also becoming a mentor and a mother to them, weren't you, in many ways?
Yeah. So I was listening to them, and it was becoming too much because they were coming maybe sometimes twice a week, and my place was getting too small, and I didn't know what the neighbors would have been thinking, you know, maybe they were disturbed. So I decided I was going to take them out, and then I visited Nando and told them what was happening in my house and if they could give me a space to kind of run a forum for young people. And straight away they said yes. They took me upstairs and gave me their room and said, oh, that's for you. You can use it as long as you want to. And then after they gave me the room, we needed finance to be able to give them the chicken that they were eating in my house. So I went to
your local church helped
I went
with
to my local church, and my local church supported me straight away. So I just, after the burial of my son and all of that, I just saw a vision right before my face. And I asked myself, do I want to stay in my pain and lose these young people, or do I want to go through my pain? And
what a challenge to you personally.
So I took the challenge and decided to mentor them. And during my time of mentoring them, I think I've met some of the most amazing young people that the world have not had the chance to meet yet.
Do they just come from Bexley Heath Academy, or do they come from other places?
Well, majority of them come from Bexley Heath Academy, where my son went to school, because majority of them were his friends here. But apart from that, a lot of them come from the neighboring school as well, because we have about 17 schools in Bexley Borough in itself. So he has friends in every of the schools. So that was how PL9 started.
Wow. And you've seen tremendous fruit from it in many different areas, haven't you?
Yeah.
As I say, some of them have come to faith and have been baptized and have come into a relationship with Jesus Christ. But also, you know, we have a God whose one of his covenant names is Balperazim, the Lord of the breakout, the Lord of the breakthrough. And there's been a tremendous breakthrough with the police in the borough, because up until recently, there was a very, very poor relationship, I understand, between the ethnic minority youngsters and the police. But now I understand that there are some amazing positive relationships that are being formed, even with the borough commander, who I believe is now Chief Super. And tell us how that breakthrough came about, where I understand some of these young people are actually advising the police on things like stop and search, and are on various committees. One was a gang leader, I understand. Tell us more about that. That's exciting.
It is really exciting, but it came through a lot of challenges. Like you rightly said earlier on, to say that God, in all things, God works for the good of those that put their trust in him. Before my son passed away in 2011, myself and my son had a very bad experience where we were being misunderstood by police, and we were
really negative.
Yeah, very negative,
thing,
and we were locked up in a police cell.
You were locked up?
Me and my son.
In the police station?
In the police station, just through misunderstanding.
Yes.
And at the end, we went to court, and we won the case against the police.
Yes.
And when I started mentoring the young people, 90% of the young people that came through PL9, every one of them have been through a bad experience with the police too. So they started sharing their stories with me, and some of them are so bitter with the police, so angry. And when you hear them speak about the police, you wonder, are they ever going to get healed from this? So at that time, fortunately for me, my pastor was a borough chaplain at that time. So he kind of connected me to the borough commander, who is now the chief superintendent of police. And then I had a meeting with him, and I asked him to come to the forum, and he did. And I respect him a lot. He's such an intelligent, very understanding borough commander. So he came, and my young people kind of just gave it to him the way they wanted. They were feeling, you know. He took it. He took everything in. And one thing I respect the borough commander for is, as high as he is, it wasn't too much for him to say, look, I am sorry for where we've gone wrong, you know. And as soon as he said that and was able to answer the question that the young people were asking him, it kind of calmed every anger and every bitterness.
And earned him a lot of respect as well.
And earned him a lot of respect within those group of young boys that I was working with. Before we started the forum, every one of them said, have nothing to do with the police, they're gangs. Just leave them alone, you know. Yeah. But after the meeting with the borough commander, majority of them wanted to join the police. You know, so it was a kind of a very, very positive meeting at the end. So an opportunity came in where they were invited to be part of the police independent advisory board, where they can advise the police about stop and search and actually get involved in helping the police on how to do it their own way, you know. So
I really admire that borough commander.
Yeah, I mean, he's an intelligent guy.
He's got my respect as well, because his strategies and his ideas are really out of the box, aren't they? Yeah. And I really think you're going to see some tremendous relationships formed across the borough, and the effect is just going to reverberate out amongst the young people and produce a new era, I believe, of understanding and respect. Now, I understand that there are 12 sudden deaths a week in the United Kingdom alone from this condition. And in your excellent blog, you point out that some of those people could have been, you know, accomplished footballers like your own son Philip. That the next person might be a lawyer, a doctor, a pilot, a scientist, a teacher, an MP, or even a prime minister. And it brought it home to me that our society is being robbed by this extraordinary condition. What do we know about sudden death syndrome, because it is incredibly common amongst the young?
Well, I didn't know much about it until my son passed away, you know. So after my son passed away, I started doing a lot of research and reading into what this sickness is all about. The first time I heard about it was when one of a very big footballer, Fabrice Muamba, in 2012 passed away. That was the first time I heard about it, and then lead on to when my son suddenly passed away through it. So I started doing a lot of investigation about it. And I've just found out that in the UK alone, like you rightly said, 12 young people die.
It's a staggering statistic. It really is.
And I don't know whether the public are aware of it.
But you want them to be aware.
I want them to be aware of it.
You're actually running a campaign for CRY, aren't you, to see defibrillators fitted in every school, in every university, in every shopping centre. I mean, we see fire extinguishers and other life-saving devices being fitted as standard, as a matter of course, because of health and safety reasons. But we're not seeing defibrillators being rated amongst those things at the moment. There's no legislation which makes it compulsory for anybody to fit them. But in fact, a defibrillator, it just kick-starts the heart. Am I right? And it can save lives because it can be applied within seconds and shocks the heart back into rhythm again. But tell us about your work for CRY and what your goal and your vision is at the moment.
Actually, I'm not working for CRY. I'm just campaigning.
You're campaigning.
I'm campaigning in my own right because of the death of my son. Now, my son was the only child, you know, and he died through this awful sudden death syndrome. And I wanted to campaign about it so that people will be aware, because I never knew that 5th of February my son left home and kissed me goodbye, that he was never going to come back again. And if there were any campaign or awareness before, knowing that my son is into sport, probably I would have gone to do it. But there was no awareness, there was no campaigning about non-cardiac syndrome, you know. So when my son passed away, I look at that as an opportunity for me to campaign about it and make the public know about the sickness. So I've been campaigning a lot since my son passed away in Bexley Borough. And through my campaign so far, 6 of the 17 secondary schools in the Bexley Borough already have a defibrillators. And at the end of this year, we are looking to making sure that the whole 17 schools
17 schools have defibrillators. Sure.
Yeah.
And tell us about the screening.
The screening is the CRY came to Bexley Heat Academy to do. I think Bexley Heat Academy plus myself, we organized a kind of a football game to raise money.
And they've been incredibly supportive towards you, haven't you? And
one of the best schools so far in the country.
Yes.
Hello, Bexley. Yeah. So they took it upon themselves to raise awareness and they raise fund as well by organizing football and musical concert to raise £7,000, and that £7,000 went towards inviting the CRY to come and do a heart screening. And
how many defibrillators would that purchase?
No, that is 7,000. It's just for the heart screening.
Okay.
Yeah. And before CRY will come to do a heart screening, there have to be 200 people.
I see.
Yeah, for them to screen, you know. So they organized, and 200 people went through this heart screening. And of the 200 people that went through the heart screening, 5 were found with the same situation that my son had.
That's extraordinary.
Yeah,
200 were screened, 5 were found to have the same